What's going on, Packers fans? Man, am I happy that Packers football is finally back. So since the second day of training camp just wrapped up, today I wanted to give you guys a video to basically recap and break down the first 2 days of training camp, everything that went down, what players showed up, what players didn't show up, and then also who practiced well and who showed out for practices. I'm going to be doing these videos every 1 to 2 training camp practices just to keep you guys up to date with all the news that has to surround the Packers with preseason and training camp. Alright, so first and foremost, before getting into the first 2 days of practice, obviously a couple things happened with the Green Bay Packers. First and foremost, obviously Aaron Rodgers is back. We all know this. Secondly, Packers traded for wide receiver, ex-Packer, Randall Cobb, wearing his jersey right now, the old throwback. I am beyond happy that this happened. I never thought in a million years that the Packers were going to acquire Randall Cobb again and, trade for him. I thought maybe potentially down the line when he was a little bit older, he could end up as a Packer like James Jones kind of, or even just retire as a Packer, of course. But I did not expect this at all, but I am beyond ecstatic. I also made a video pretty much welcoming home Randall Cobb, a little highlight video. So if you haven't seen that already, click the link down below. Definitely go check that out. I think Randall Cobb will actually add a lot to this offense. He's a true veteran slot receiver that the Packers have really been missing for a long time, pretty much since Randall Cobb left. Davante Adams does play slot here and there, but he's the prime target of the offense, so they can move him around wherever they want. But I think it's going to be a great addition to this offense, and people might think he might be washed up, but he's actually had two good seasons away from the Packers, a good few seasons away from the Packers with the Texans and the Cowboys. He's turning 31 in a month, but he still has a lot of juice left in him, I think. And I also think he's going to be a great mentor for third-round pick Amari Rodgers. I think Amari Rodgers can learn a lot from Randall Cobb, and that will benefit him more than it hurts him. As for the compensation, the Packers only gave up a 6th-round draft choice in 2022, and the Texans also took $3 million of his salary bonus and paid that off. So I think Randall Cobb's cap hit for this year will roughly be around $4 million, so a lot better than that $7 or $8 million it was over there in Houston. And he arrived last night and practiced today on the second day. And the second bit of news is the Packers signed an offensive tackle, Dennis Kelly. He started all 16 games for the Titans last year, mainly at right tackle, a little bit left tackle. I see this as a Ricky Wagner-esque signing. I think he's going to contribute a lot to the offensive line depth and really help us late in the season. Kelly also only practiced today, the second day. He wasn't here yesterday. And a funny thing about him is he showed up in a David Bakhtiari number 69 jersey, which is pretty coincidental because I put out a tweet yesterday showing the uncanny similarities, long lost brothers, 2 pictures of Dennis Kelly and David Bakhtiari, and then today they swapped jerseys, so it's pretty funny. All right, so without further ado, let's get on to the first 2 days of practices real quick. Let's go over the people who did not participate. On the physically unable to perform list, we have David Bakhtiari, obviously with that ACL. Josiah DeGuara, also ACL. Dominique Daphne with a knee. And then Patrick Taylor with a foot injury. And then on the non-football injury list, we have Kevin King, Kingsley Keke, Zadarius Smith, Will Redmond, Henry Black, and Isaiah McDuffie. Kind of a shame Isaiah McDuffie's on the list. I was kind of interested to see what he had here in the training camp. Hopefully he can get out there soon. And then on the COVID list was linebacker Ray Wilborn. All right, so I compiled all the information for both days, so I'm pretty much giving you a brief summary of certain players over both days. So I'm going to start out with the offense, and Aaron Rodgers looks like the same old Aaron Rodgers, having fun out there, laughing, smiling, and making good throws. Aaron Rodgers also still looking for tight ends in the red zone often. Obviously including Robert Tonyan, which keeps true to his 11 touchdowns last season. Aaron Rodgers was also threading the needle on some throws. There's some really nice throws on these first 2 days of camp, even beating Jair Alexander and Darnell Savage for a 60-yard touchdown to Davante Adams. Quarterback Jordan Love also had a pretty good start to days 1 and 2. He definitely performed better in day 1 than he did in day 2. He had a really nice throw to rookie wide receiver Amari Rodgers on an end zone fade route. And speaking of Amari Rodgers, he's also had plenty of action, clearly showcasing the type of weapon he can be. Love also threw touchdowns to rookie running back Kylan Hill and tight end Jace Sternberger. Love just looks way more in rhythm than he did last year. He seems to be progressing pretty nicely. Also to note, a nice surprise good start by running back Dexter Williams as he fights for that running back 3 spot. Very interested to see who grabs that running back 3 spot at the end of things. either him, Kylan Hill, or Patrick Taylor. As for the starting lineup on the offensive line, day one, Elton Jenkins was starting at left tackle, obviously with David Bakhtiari out. John Runyon, left guard. Myers at center. Lucas Patrick, right guard, and Billy Turner, right tackle. And on day two, same setup, except for left guard, where Ben Braden took Runyon's spot, but then Runyon swapped back into left guard with the ones later in practice. So it seems very apparent that second-round choice center Josh Myers is the center one, and it's going to stay that way. He's going to be starting center week one, no doubt. And it's also clear if David Bakhtiari can't go week one, Elton Jenkins will likely be that starter at left tackle. And then a combination of Turner, Lucas Patrick, John Runyon, and Dennis Kelly should fill the two guard spots in right tackle. Also, something important to note with the offensive line, rookie out of Wisconsin, Cole Van Lanen, has been getting snaps at left tackle with the second group. A.J. Dillon looking very fluid at running back. I'm very excited for A.J. Dillon this year. I think him and Aaron Jones will be a perfect combination backfield. It seems they're using A.J. Dillon more in the passing game, which I've been clamoring for since they drafted him because I believe he has very nice hands. And as I said before, just didn't really get to showcase that at Boston College, and I believe the Packers are starting to realize that, and I hope they do use him more in the pass game, which it seems they are throughout OTAs, minicamp, and now training camp. Dark horse wide receiver Juwan Winfrey, whose roster spot just got harder to make with the trade of Randall Cobb, keeps making plays as he did in OTAs and minicamp. He secured a 55-yard touchdown from Aaron Rodgers over Chandon Sullivan and Adrian Amos. The dude just keeps making plays. He's going to be very hard to cut if he continues this. All right, so now moving on to the flip side over the defense for the first 2 days. Eric Stokes got the start at cornerback opposite Jair Alexander, obviously with Kevin King on the non-football injury list. This is a great opportunity for the first-round pick to get some first-team reps. He definitely needs them. Stokes also had a pretty nice coverage play on Devontae Adams, where he forced an incompletion for Aaron Rodgers, which was pretty impressive. As for the inside linebackers, new addition Devondre Campbell and Chris Barnes were starting there at inside linebacker, so it seems Devondre Campbell keeps getting the nod over second-year linebacker Kamal Martin out of Minnesota. I really wish Kamal, I have high hopes for Kamal, and I hope he gets that second-year sophomore jump and starts to put it all together. I think he can be a very good coverage linebacker, very good speedy linebacker that can move around and attack plays and whatnot. So I'm hoping he can start to show up a little bit. Jair and Devontae Adams are having nice battles, just making each other even better, if that's possible. Rookie nose tackle TJ Slayton is clearly an immovable object. He still moved in a positive direction when he was double teamed by center Jake Hansen and Simon Stepniak. So I believe TJ Slayton's going to be a very good asset for this Packers defensive line. So if I were to choose a defensive MVP for the first 2 days of camp, it would definitely be outside linebacker Rashawn Gary, who's obviously getting the start with Zadarius Smith gone, him and Preston Smith starting at the two linebacker spots. He would have multiple sacks if it were live. Now they are without pads, but he's been beating a lot of people. He even beat Mercedes Lewis on an outside toss to A.J. Dillon, which is very impressive. It's very hard to beat Mercedes Lewis. That dude's a monster. So, very impressive 2 days by Rashawn Gary. Again, just a player I think that's going to break out, and I truly believe he'll definitely be the starting outside linebacker opposite Zadarius Smith come week one. Kenny Clark looking like his normal self. Disruptive. When the defense ran a 3-safety nickel set, Adrian Amos was the safety that dropped down into that nickel spot. Very interested to see that under this Joe Barry defense. I think Adrian Amos fits that role very well. I think Darnell Savage could even run it. But Vernon Scott, safety, took Amos's spot alongside Darnell Savage. So it's pretty clear Vernon Scott could be one of those players that really gets a good sophomore jump. And finally, Ty Summers had an interception on Jordan Love, which would have gone for a pick 6. So it's finally nice to see Ty Summers getting some flashes. That's another player that just has a lot of potential. I think he could be something great. He has some tackling issues and whatnot, but it's nice to see him, showing some flashes here at camp, and definitely will be interested to see how he plays in the preseason. So that about does it for the first 2 days of practice. The next practice is tomorrow, Friday. They also have a practice on Saturday, then a day off on Sunday, and then they come back on Monday. And like I said, I'll keep releasing videos just like this one recapping and analyzing the practices as they come. So that does it for today. If you aren't subscribed already and you want to keep up to date with Packers news, highlights, and all that, definitely consider going down and clicking that subscribe button and also liking this video if you did enjoy this video. On that note, I'll catch y'all in the next one. As always, go Pack Go.